Welcome back, hippies. Today I'm just kind of cleaning up. I did a lot of sweeping, rearranging, just kind of getting stuff out of the way. We're going to continue with the mud here. But one thing I do need to address before I continue with the mud is those boxes up there have my solar charge controller and inverter. So I'm going to have to figure out where that's going, which I kind of have a good idea. From that good idea, which is potentially right outside the windows here, which will be the greenhouse at some point, I'm thinking right down here in that box is where I'll run a chase for conduit. That way I can run all the wiring out to, say, that toolbox that goes in the back of a truck. That could potentially hold at least the batteries. And then another box will contain the charge controller and the inverter, keeping it out of the elements, protected, warm, and properly functioning. So what I want to do is from that square right down here, we're going to figure out conduit across where the kitchen, temporary kitchen until the greenhouse is built, is going to be buried. So I'm going to put the conduit in here. And then that way it's encased in the concrete, it's protected, but I can still run wire with whether a fish tape or, something to pull the wires through. And then we're going to go over here, and this is where I was like, okay, how am I going to do this? What am I going to do? Well, I ended up getting my chisel and hammer out, my framing hammer, and just kind of made a trench there. And with that, now I can take a piece of conduit, put it in here. That's going to run all the way up. This will be covered here at some point. So what I'm going to do is run the conduit up to, say, there, put a box in, and I can always cover all this up. I can finish this out with wood trim. I do have some leftover 2x6s like I started here. And again, you can see that's covering the board that I porcupined and then sunk into the tire work with concrete. So that's attaching these to the tire work. There we go. So at any rate, electrical is going to be coming up once I get that continued chiseled. And then I'm going to do some in the floor outlets. That way I don't have to mess with any of the adobe that I've already installed upstairs in the loft area. I'm also going to potentially run some conduit, not only just over to here and then up, but also from this corner, going to run some, maybe put an outlet over in this area. Just by code, you need outlets in places, and it's handy. I've been to houses that only have a couple, and it's just a pain in the butt when you're trying to work with certain items that you need to plug in and what have you. So about 8 feet apart is good spacing, but having at least one there, maybe one right under the cooling tube. This might have a bench. I'm not sure yet, but I want to at least get the conduit run and potential boxes that even if I don't use it for an outlet, I can put just a blank faceplate over it and still be able to run the wire and potentially install something in the future. So this is for stuff I'm already thinking of and things I haven't thought of yet, like DC lighting under the loft to make it glow in different colors. All these ideas will come to be. I just want to be ready for that. And that's a really important part of the build, is having a plan, trying to go through it in your head as much as you possibly can. So that way, when you get to this point, you just have the conduit installed. You don't have to chip away mud that you've put up, taught yourself how to put up, and then chip it away. So, just constantly learning, good lessons, baby steps forward. And yeah, got the kitchen, again, temporary kitchen area ready to put cupboards in up here, tile backsplash, and then storage below, whether it's going to be cupboards for dishes and all that good stuff right now. A potential sink even for temporary, because if I can move that whole cabinet out, I can still put a dresser or built-in something there to turn this into my room. So the entirety of this space will be my room at some point, because once we go outside, there's a pile of used conduit I have acquired over the years, and I'm glad I have, because now I can use it. At any rate, so we're coming outside. There's the front of the house, the greenhouse, probably 10 to 12 feet away from the front of the house. Go inside because of the wind. So with that, with that space right about, out to the sand pile here, that's going to allow me greenhouse space for growing plants to purify the air, just to grow flowers and, cucumbers, tomatoes, peppers, things like that, herbs, stuff you do in an Earthship stuff and things. And then over there, a potential bathroom because I'm acquiring the land around me. So I will have room to put in a septic and, run a black water system and all that, which will be coming in the years. So it's just planning, thinking of those things before you start building and finishing things. You kind of have an idea and you can leave yourself a chase. What's a chase? A chase is something like this right here. So this tube right here is where the water from that cistern is going to enter the greenhouse and someday go to a water filtration board in this area. So again, just kind of planning for all these things, leaving again a chase, which is just an oversized tube, PVC piping. That way I can run water piping through there to the filtration system and then to the house for consumption and use. So anyway, I'm getting the hiccups because I'm talking too much, so it's time to go. But from the high desert mesa, we're making progress, baby steps. Love that ceiling. And tune in next time. We'll see you then. Bueno, bye.